In this video, we will look at a few examples that will allow us to practice working with midsegments. In example A, it says, draw the segment DF between AB and BC. Use appropriate tick marks. So if we want to draw the midsegment DF, that means we need to start by finding the midpoints of AB and BC. The midpoint of AB will be approximately right here. Remember, you're looking for a point that is exactly in the middle of A and B. We're going to label this point D because it said in the problem to make our midsegment be DF. Next, we're going to find the midpoint of BC, which is approximately right here, and label it F. So our midsegment is the segment DF. Now it says to use appropriate tick marks. That means mark off anything that is congruent in this picture. Because D is the midpoint of AB, it means that AD is congruent to DB. Similarly, BF is congruent to FC. All right, let's go to example B. Find the midpoint of AC from triangle ABC. So that's the triangle we were just working on. Label it E and find the other two midsegments of the triangle. So first, let's find the midpoint of AC. It looks to be approximately right here, and we're labeling it E. Now, draw in the other two midsegments. So that would be the segment DE and EF. At this point, we can mark off anything else in this picture that is congruent. So AE is definitely congruent to EC because E was the midpoint of AC. Each of the midsegments that we've created are also congruent to other segments in this triangle. So for example, DF we know is half the length of AC. And since AC is split into two equal parts, where AE is congruent to EC, it means that DF must also be congruent to AE and EC. So we need 3 tick marks to show that. Similarly, EF is half the length of AB. That means it's exactly the length of AD or of DB. So it needs 1 tick mark. The same logic could lead us to know that DE is exactly the length of BF and of FC. At this point, we're going to jump to example D. In this example, it says M, N, and O are the midpoints of the sides of the triangle. And then we have to find 3 things: MN, XY, and the perimeter of XYZ. So first, because M, N, and O are midpoints, we can use that to figure out some information. So for example, because O is a midpoint, it means that if OZ is 5, XO must also be 5. That means the full length of XZ is 10. Now MN is a midsegment of the triangle, and it has to be half the length of the side it's parallel to. So that means MN is half the length of XZ. So MN must be 5. Next, let's think about XY. XY is parallel to midsegment ON. That means XY is twice the length of midsegment ON. So since ON is 4, XY must be 8. Now, in order to find the perimeter of the triangle, we need to know the length of all 3 sides. We know 2 sides are 10 and 8, so we just need to find the length of YZ. YZ is parallel to the midsegment of length 3, which is midsegment MO. That means YZ must be twice the length of MO, so YZ must be length 6. Therefore, the perimeter of the triangle will be 10 plus 8 plus 6, which is 24.